Someone who's immortal could never understand my pain.
Do you even know the definition of immortality? It means that I, and only I, cannot die.
The chase for immortality. In fiction, reality, and philosophy alike, it is often romanticized and painted as the ultimate reward. Infinite time to learn, to grow, to evolve. These are the fundamental traits that fuel some of the most iconic written characters in fiction, whether that be Frieza with the Dragon Balls, Ra's al Ghul with the Lazarus Pick, or Muzan with Nezuko. There have been characters young and old, human and alien, good and bad, who have attempted in the chase of immortality. But with all universal concepts, there's always an angle that not just characters, but people just cannot see. So hopefully after watching my video today, you will learn to fear the... Hey, my name is Leroy of the North, or the Spartan Samurai if you know me from Insta, and I will hopefully be your guide for a video essay related to any form of media content, whether it be a comic, an anime, a manhwa, or that one show that everyone has seemed to have forgotten about. I will try and cover it in a hopefully calm and concise manner. And today's topic, immortality. Not just as a gift, but as a curse. So, if this sounds like your type of content, liking, commenting, or subscribing is massively appreciated. But as usual, I will be taking 3 of my favorite examples of this trope, that being Quilby from Wakfu, Spawn from the Spawn animated series, and Dracula Vlad Tepes from the Castlevania series, introducing their characters and analyzing how their character ties into the theme of immortality. But that's enough yap, let's dive straight into our first character.
You never understood me. None of you ever worried about me. Have you ever tried to imagine what I was going through? I die and come back to life, but I don't forget like you do. No, I remember again and again. Everything. Each moment remains burned in my mind.
Wakfu, for a relatively short show, has had an overabundance of amazing villains. Noxamillion, Oropo, Borogan, and Rushu, just to name a few. But out of all the characters that I've just named, I think the most realistic within its own world is Quilby. Quilby, in the world of Wakfu, is a heliotrope, in essence an immortal race, beings tied to dragons and the life force of the universe itself, and once killed reincarnate, forgetting everything except their current lives. But unlike his kin, Quilby remembers everything, every birth, every death, every betrayal and heartbreak. He doesn't get the peace of forgetting, he carries it all. To many characters, memories, love, emotional connections, these are strengths, especially in the world of Wakfu. But for Quilby, it flips the theme on its head, making memories become a cage and immortality his prison. The longer he lives, the more alien he becomes from the rest of his race. Not because he's less human, or in this case, less heliotrope, but because his pain compounds, and it drives him insane. And when he does lash out, trying to force evolution of his people by destroying their homeworld, it's not because he's evil by nature, it's because he's tired. Tired of a cycle that never ends. Tired of remembering what everybody else forgets. Quilby isn't terrifying because he is a monster. He's terrifying because in the wrong situation with immortality, any one of our favorite characters could have become him. But now we must ask, what happens when immortality isn't just the curse or fading memories, but a literal chain around one's soul? As Quilby shows us the psychological weight, let us observe the effects through a human perspective. let us talk about Al Simmons, better known as the Spawn.
What are you prepared to do?
I pledge everything I own, everything I have left, my heart included. I want my humanity back.
Spawn, for those who aren't aware of this amazing character, before the cape, the chains, and the totally fair death battles, was known as Al Simmons, a trained, loyal assassin. And just like one of my other favourite characters of all time, it is this loyalty that had him killed. Burned alive and sent straight to hell, Al endures, and in the hopes of seeing his wife again, he makes a deal with a demon to come back not as a human, but as a hellspawn. And it is in this moment that leads to something worse than the hell Al was in, as now he has a front row seat to see the life that he once lived, but this is a seat he cannot leave. As Spawn's soul does not belong to him, though he cannot die, he also cannot live the life that he once had, as he is given a face that he does not recognize, a body that is not his, and a set of cruel tasks that must be done whilst he is stuck in a twisted version of Earth, constantly reminding him of his past. So he walks the streets like a ghost, feared by everybody, including himself. The longer he exists, the more that immortality weighs on him. It doesn't heal him, it doesn't help. It keeps the pain fresh, the regret sharper, and the anger more permanent. The immortality he thought would set him free chained him to everything that he could not fix. Though Spawn immortality is always negatively affecting him, he still tries to do good. So now we must ask, what if we flip this idea of immortality on its head and analyze a character who puts it to its worst use?
1 year, Wallachians. You have 1 year to make your peace and remove any marks you have made upon the land. 1 year, and then I'll wipe all human life from the land of Wallachia. You took that which I got, so I will take from you everything you have, and everything you have ever been. 1 year.
And saving the best for last, the pseudo-immortal vampire Dracula, but specifically Vlad Dracula Tepish from the Castlevania series. This version of Dracula, I would argue, is one of, if not the best iteration of the character. From his on-screen and characteristic references to the actual icon Vlad the Impaler, to the design, action, and voice acting of the character itself. Castlevania did an amazing job portraying such a commonly used figure whilst presenting such a fresh, layered portrayal. When we first meet Dracula, it is through his soon-to-be wife Lisa Tepish, a woman who sought out Dracula in hopes of advancing her medical knowledge. As they get to know each other, their ideologies begin to reflect upon each other. Dracula allowing Lisa to access his vast knowledge of science, knowledge he had accumulated only through centuries of existence. And in return, Lisa offered Dracula something far rarer, a new perspective on humanity. She encourages him to walk amongst the people, to see the world not as something beneath him, but as something worth understanding. All of this becomes irrelevant when the Latin Church discovers Lisa's tools, hand her medicine, and labels her as a witch. She is burned at the stake. When Dracula returns to find her destroyed home, her destroyed tools, and his destroyed wife reduced to ash, his grief turns to wrath. What follows is not just vengeance, but an absolute annihilation. And this is where we get to see the curse of immortality take full form. The immortality that gave Dracula the time to gather centuries of knowledge, to change, to evolve, to love, turned unbearable after experiencing true loss. His vengeance was indeed impulsive, but at the same way methodical. He gave humanity a year to prepare, a year to suffer in anticipation. This wasn't just a form of cruelty. This was from the perspective of someone who no longer sees time as something precious, but as something that can be weaponized. So, what could have been eternal life shared in love becomes eternal grief projected outwards. He isn't just killing humanity, he is killing the last thing tethering him to compassion, to hope, to morality itself. Immortality, in this case, does not heal the wound. It preserves it. It keeps the pain fresh and the memory vivid. And for someone like Dracula, whose power is godlike and whose loss is personal, eternity without Lisa became something far worse than death. It became unbearable. In the end, what connects Quilby, Spawn, and Dracula isn't just the fact that they can't die, it's that they can't stop living, each of them being trapped in their own unique versions of eternity. Quilby's curse of memories, Spawn's inability for redemption, and Dracula's longing for lost love shows us no matter how strong one man becomes, their power becomes irrelevant, as time takes everything, everywhere, and everyone. So now that you've watched my video, I want you to ask, do you fear? Hey guys, I want to thank everyone who stayed this long. As always, you guys mean the world to me. But tell me, is there a character of this archetype that I missed? Or is there an entirely different archetype you want me to cover? Leave it in the comments below. But until then...
Now listen to me, boys! Always remember these words. Work hard, study well, and eat and sleep plenty. That is the Turtle Hermit way. We must master the art of peace in addition to the art of war.
I feel safe and sound on solid ground. How can I lay down? Bullets may fly round, but I lay down. I feel safe and sound on solid ground.